Is next, followed by ABC's World News Tonight at 5:30.
It's 5 o'clock. You're watching KMGH Denver. 7 News starts now.
They are pictures you won't see anywhere else. A Texas prison is torn apart, allegedly, by inmates from Colorado. The destruction is dramatic after the riot. And in another exclusive report, we're going to tell you why a local postal employee showed up at work wearing a dress and a gorilla mask, and why his co-workers aren't laughing about it.
But first tonight, we have some sad news to report about a baby caught in the crossfire. Good evening, I'm Ernie Bjorkman.
And I'm Bertha, Lynn. Thanks for joining us tonight. A baby caught in a tragic shooting died just a short while ago at University Hospital.
The baby was delivered by cesarean section yesterday after her mother was shot to death. And now police tell us the suspect in custody has a lengthy record that dates back 30 years. Ann Trujillo joins us live from University Hospital with more. Ann?
Well, Ernie, this baby was taken off a ventilator about 2:30 this afternoon. She was surrounded by her family. She wasn't due for another 4 weeks, but that was not the problem here. The child was deprived of oxygen during the time that her mother was killed and the time that the baby was delivered. And doctors say she suffered irreversible damage to her brain, lungs, and to her heart. It's just another sad twist to a very tragic story. There was nothing doctors could do for the child's mother. 25-year-old Orlita Goodlow died at the hospital. She'd been taken there from her Denver home, where Goodlow lived with her mother and stepfather.
When the officers got there, they found the victim lying in the living room area of the home, and she had suffered multiple gunshot wounds, at least one of them to her head.
Police now have Goodlow's stepfather in custody, 48-year-old Clifton Grady Ashley, who they say got into an argument with Goodlow. They also say their records show Ashley was convicted of murder back in 1970 and served 6 to 8 years in prison.
He's got multiple arrests for weapon violation incidents, a couple robberies, a couple burglaries. The only time on his record that there's a blank spot is when he was in prison.
Clifton Ashley is now being held in Denver without bond, and he is facing a charge of first-degree murder. Back to you, Ernie.
This is terrible, and we're wondering whether this raises the stakes for the suspect. Can he now be charged with 2 counts of murder because of the baby's death?
Well, I checked with the district attorney, the Denver district attorney, Bill Ritter, and he said that Colorado law is very clear on this issue, that it does not recognize a fetus as a person, no matter what stage that fetus is. So that fetus is not considered a person of law, so the child's death, it appears, doesn't qualify as a homicide.
All right, very interesting. Ann Trujillo reporting live for us from University Hospital.
Well, we've told you in recent weeks about the 500 Colorado inmates none too happy about being housed down in Texarkana, Texas. Now they have rioted and allegedly torn the place apart. Mitch Jelniker has been following this story and joins us now from the newsroom. Mitch?
Ernie, the riot started at about 3 this morning and lasted, we're told, for 90 minutes. And when you see the video from inside the prison, it's amazing that no one was injured. This is what's left of the Bowie County Correctional Facility in Texarkana, Texas. It houses 500 Colorado inmates. Officials there say the Coloradans started the riot when guards started cutting down clotheslines the inmates had put up between their beds.
Maybe 10 to 15 inmates had got out of the cells, and they were throwing sticks, flooding the hallways, had locks and socks, and things of that nature.
Guards had to abandon their stations and wait for 100 law enforcement officers to come in. Together, they filled the place with pepper mace, and the inmates backed off. The Colorado inmates have accused the guards of using unwarranted excessive force in the past. But the warden says none was used to control this situation. He has a theory on why taking down clotheslines would spark such a scene.
This is all part of going back. And once they figure out that that's not going to take place, that they're not going back to Colorado, then I think they'll calm down and we won't have more problems with them.
But the place has been quite a problem for several of the Colorado inmates. As we've told you in recent weeks, they have filed a lawsuit to have all 500 prisoners from Colorado removed from that facility and taken someplace else. Hopefully they would like to be back in Colorado. The suit alleges abuse, inhumane conditions, and violations of civil rights. Ernie?
And again, Mitch, there are no reports of injuries.
That's right. That's the official word from Bowie County, Texas. Now, we may find out differently when a Colorado Department of Corrections team flies down there to investigate this whole thing tomorrow.
All right, we'll have the update. Mitch, thanks.
Here's a strange case, a bizarre case, another one involving a disgruntled postal worker and the potential for violence. Police arrested him in Denver after they found his car loaded with deadly weapons. Julie Hayden has the exclusive story for us, and she comes to us now live with this report from the Terminal Annex. Julie?
Well, Bertha, this is the Terminal Annex where the employee was arrested. Investigators say he showed up for work wearing a dress, a gorilla mask, and a strap-on sexual device. And then they say he came back with a car full of guns. 50-year-old John Pitney apparently knew it was going to be a bad day last Wednesday. He'd worked for the post office for 18 years, most recently as a clerk at the Terminal Annex downtown. But there were employment problems, and Pitney knew he was going to be fired. Inspectors say he came to work that day wearing a dress, a gorilla mask, and a strap-on sexual device. He was told to leave.
The employee had exhibited eccentric behavior in the past. However, this time it just went over the line.
Investigators say Pitney returned to the post office later that day, still wearing the dress, and was ordered to leave after making what some considered threatening remarks.
We were very concerned for the safety of our employees, and that's why he was ejected from the facility.
When Pitney came back again that night, postal workers called police. They searched his car and found a large briefcase full of ammunition and several guns. 2 rifles, another high-powered rifle with a scope, and 2 handguns. They also found 2 hunting knives. Inspectors consider Pitney's behavior was more than bizarre. It was potentially dangerous.
We're very concerned about workplace violence, and that's why we took such swift action.
Now, Pitney was arrested on city charges of carrying a concealed weapon. He is being held in the city jail awaiting a psychiatric evaluation. And Bertha, the postal inspectors say they're also trying to get a restraining order to keep him away from this building.
I imagine some of the co-workers were pretty shaken up. Any counseling for them?
Well, we have not spoken to any of them specifically, and I'm not even sure how much they were aware of the whole thing. The police managed to arrest him before he actually got back in the building that 3rd time he came back.
Okay, thanks for the update, Julie.
Autopsy results show the man shot by police following a high-speed chase died from a gunshot wound to the head. A Lakewood officer shot and killed Mitchell Baraconi. During the final stage of that chase, the officer was being dragged by the victim when Baraconi stepped on the accelerator. The officer tells investigators he felt his life was in danger. That's why he fired at the driver. Baraconi had 3 alcohol convictions and was driving with a revoked license. Englewood police are investigating the shooting since the chase ended in their city.
Rescue crews this morning saved the life of a homeless man who had fallen asleep in a dumpster, and then he wound up in the back of a garbage truck. Very strange story. The driver of the garbage truck heard the man crying out for help. He called firefighters to free Gerald Bluthman from the truck. The 58-year-old Bluthman was trapped inside. Firefighters worked for 2 hours using an aerial ladder to harness Bluthman and then lift him out. Bluthman was taken to the hospital where he was treated for minor cuts and bruises, then released.
Stay with us on 7 News. They're ready for action in Bosnia. Find out just how soon troops from Colorado could be heading out.
And find out why a Bosnian boy is moved to tears at a Denver school.
The USS George Washington, the command ship of NATO's peacekeeping efforts in Bosnia. As the Washington's crew prepares for its mission, only one Colorado television news crew is on board, 7 News.
I'm Hendrik Sabrandi on board the Washington, a ship with many troops from Colorado. Tonight you'll see how they're preparing to keep the peace.
Go on board with 7 News as America goes on guard in Bosnia tonight, only on 7 News at 10.
Circuits. Decorate Children's Hospital. You can get them at any Colorado Credit Union, King Soopers, or Joslyn's for just $1. Listen to KHOW News Talk 63 for details.
Hurry in for... This is what you do. You go to Red Robin Restaurant, and your dad gets some huge, juicy burger, and your mom gets some weird, exotic salad. And you get a Christmas tree. Well, not right there, but Red Robin will give you a coupon. Then you take it with your receipt to home base, where you get 25% off your fresh-cut Christmas tree. That's any Red Robin and any home base in Colorado. You better hurry. Offer ends December 17th. Oh, brought to you by Red Robin, Home Base, and KMGH Channel 7 News.
Colorado troops are ready to leave for Bosnia, and they could be heading out by the end of this week. More than 1,000 members of the 10th Special Forces Unit at Fort Carson will probably leave this Thursday or Friday. Army personnel from Fitzsimmons left today on their way to help in that Bosnian effort. Also training for Bosnia, 6,000 sailors and pilots aboard the USS George Washington. The ship plays a crucial role in the upcoming mission. Tonight at 10, we take you on board the nuclear carrier to show you how troops are now preparing for whatever may lie ahead in Bosnia. It's something you'll only see on 7 News, and that's tonight at 10.
Politicians and soldiers talk of war and peace, but to understand just how bad things are in Bosnia, you need to listen to the children. Today, 5 young Bosnians shared their experiences with students at a Denver school. One of the speakers was moved to tears as the students sang a song of peace. Another talked of the risks American soldiers will face in bringing peace to Bosnia.
They make a great difference, and if they stop the war, what will prevent deaths of thousands of people, then I think it's worth it.
The students' appearance coincides with the release of UNICEF's report on the state of the world's children and how war affects their lives.
Well, on a much brighter note, but not for the people who live there, snow, snow, and more snow. It just wouldn't stop falling, and it's buried an entire northeastern city tonight. You'll be surprised at how much snow fell. Next.
Well, snow is not a problem in Colorado. Of course, there's snow in the mountains, and we are getting our share of sunshine here. But for how much longer? We'll get Pam Daale's forecast next.
Breakfast. The next best thing to breakfast in bed is breakfast at Lafitte. The next best thing to breakfast in bed is breakfast at Lafitte.
Got your eye on Power Ranger Ion?
Get great entertainment gifts for everybody on your list at Media Play. Of course, we have more music, books, movies, and software at the lowest prices every day. The Beatles. You loved them then. Wait till you hear them now. Save on the new anthology album from the Beatles, coming November 21st. Media Play. More choice, less price, every day.
All right, no more complaining. Be glad you don't live in Buffalo, New York. The city is buried under more than 3 feet of snow tonight. The airport was closed, school was canceled, and the National Guard was called in to help people dig out. Some of the snow drifts are close to 5 feet tall. And check out these pictures now from San Francisco. Oh, my goodness. Wet winter weather opens a giant sinkhole that has swallowed up 2 houses there. The sinkhole is 60 feet deep.
All right, I won't complain anymore about our cold weather sometimes. But boy, when the sun came out today, it was gorgeous.
Wasn't it neat?
Oh, it's nice.
Doesn't take long for us to warm up in this city.
No, it doesn't.
Awfully nice. Big change compared to what we had last Friday with temperatures in the teens and 20s. But we were back into the 60s today, and it did turn out to be a very nice afternoon. And a nice shot from downtown, our photographer Steve Cady. We did have some of the high clouds around, but as you can see, plenty of sunshine still came through to make for a very nice afternoon. In fact, the high was 63 degrees, so that's well above the normal of 44 for this time of year. 36 was the low for this morning, and that also at least 20 degrees above normal. But we can get very cold. In this date, in 1932, it dropped down to 13 degrees below zero, so nowhere near anything like that for us today. Right now, we're still at 56 degrees, relative humidity 22%, winds are from the northwest at 12. The barometric pressure is on its way up from 29.99 inches of mercury, and we have blue air quality for tonight, so no wood burning restrictions are in effect. Our satellite picture shows some of those high clouds that just stayed over the eastern portion of Colorado, and more clouds now are beginning to move into the west. A little bit of light precipitation is falling in the mountains in the form of snow, but of course in Buffalo, New York, that's because they had so much snow because of the wind that was going over the mountains, picking up moisture and dumping the snow. It's called lake effect snow, and unfortunately for them, they just happen to live too close to that lake with the winds in the wrong direction for them today. We're going to see very mild weather continuing for us the next couple of days. Frontal system keeping that cold air to our north and very mild conditions to the south, even though there were quite a few clouds Lots of moisture coming in off the Pacific Ocean, but we're really not going to see much in the way of precipitation along with those clouds. For tomorrow, just partly cloudy skies for the west, mild for them as well, 50 to 55 for highs. Even in the mountains, 35 to 45, 62 to 67 over the northeast, 64 to 69 over southeastern Colorado. The mountains could see some snow showers, and even tonight, 2 to 4 inches of snow are expected over the northern and central mountains, but really no big storms expected here. Our temperature for tonight will drop down to 35 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, again, we'll see the high clouds around, but still sunshine through it, so we'll call it partly sunny. It will be a little on the breezy side, though, but the high climbing to 67 degrees. We'll cool off a little bit on Wednesday with the high climbing to 60 degrees. And for Thursday, 55 for the high, mostly sunny on Friday with a high of 60 and 60 again on Saturday. We do have a little bit of a system coming through Wednesday night into Thursday. Could give us some rain or snow, but again, not much.
My ears perk up when you start talking about a little bit of a system. We'll find out exactly what that means later on in the week. Thank you, Pam.
Thanks, Pam. Well, the Avalanche in Toronto tonight, and they've got the NHL's Player of the Week on their team.
And a rough weekend for those Broncos. They lose the game and a valuable player, maybe for the rest of the season. Jeff Passolt will fill you in next.
Stay tuned for 7 Sports, voted Best Sportscast by the Associated Press.
What can you say about these Denver Broncos? We love them, and then there are times when we just want to shake them.
You know, it's that time of the year, so we're trying to keep up the holiday cheer here, and they're not helping us, are they? Yesterday's loss to Seattle was bad, but today's news even worse. The Broncos could be without star running back Terrell Davis for the rest of the season. The rookie sensation and second leading rusher in the AFC left yesterday's game with an injured knee after this hit by Seattle's Carlton Gray. Now the Broncos are waiting for extensive x-rays to determine if he suffered scar tissue damage, which would knock him out for about a week, or a cartilage tear, which would end the season for Terrell Davis. So things not looking any better the day after the Broncos blew a 20-0 lead to the Seahawks and jeopardized their playoff chances. Pittsburgh and Kansas City have already clinched playoff spots. Buffalo not far behind at 9-5. The Broncos fortunate the list of wild card contenders is crowded. Indy and Oakland at 8-6. Miami could fall to 7-7 with the Broncos in San Diego if they lose to Kansas City tonight, so you'll want to keep an eye out for that game this evening right here on 7. After the Broncos let their destiny slip out of their hands yesterday.
Very disappointed, and everybody's sick. Probably not very many people could sleep last night. And, you know, if anybody felt any different, then we have the wrong type of players on this football team. But it was you know, as I explained yesterday, it was the worst loss I've ever been associated with because we really had control of the football game and, you know, we gave it away.
Wasn't a lot of fun to watch either. Well, as expected, UCLA football coach Terry Donahue resigned today as head coach of the Bruins to join CBS as an analyst for their college football coverage. So the search for a successor is underway. And a name that will get strong consideration is former UCLA star and current CU coach Rick Neuheisel. Donahue, the winningest coach in UCLA in Pac-10 history. After 20 years at UCLA, while Neuheisel is finishing up his first season as head coach of the Buffs, but started his career coaching at UCLA as an assistant for 5 years dating back to 1988. So Neuheisel's name will be mentioned a lot in the days ahead, and not just because his team is headed for the Cotton Bowl. Neuheisel has said in the past he'd be loyal to CU, but the UCLA job is worth a bundle.
After 25 years here at the university, a dream of mine is coming to an end. And it's a very difficult and emotional decision for me, but one which I felt strongly had to be made in everyone's best interest.
Buffs fans are hoping that it will not affect what happens up there in Boulder. There will have reaction from Rick Neuheisel tonight at 10. The Avalanche return to action tonight at Toronto, and they'll be taking them on the Maple Leafs with the NHL Player of the Week, Peter Forsberg, after a great week for the Avalanche. 4 goals and 8 assists in just 3 games to help lead the Avs to a 2-1 record last week, and his 14 goals and 39 assists ranked 3rd overall in the NHL behind Pittsburgh's Mario Lemieux and Jaromir Jagr. We'll have the highlights from Toronto for you at 10. The Nuggets also in action. They've won 7 out of 8. Now, boy, they're red hot. They're playing at Philly tonight, so we'll have those highlights as well.
We had to wait a long time for that, so it's nice
Yeah,
that
it's nice to see
they've turned it around.
All right, after the game,
Yes.
Miami and
after the
Kansas
game,
City,
I
right?
said 10. Miami and Kansas City. And Bronco fans obviously going to want to watch that one because the Broncos take on the Chiefs next week.
Well, we'll hope it's close to 10 o'clock.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Well, we're going to make a special stop on a spectacular tour when we come back.
It's a tour of holiday homes that will light up your life. Look for that next.
Hi, my name is Ed Erickson. I'm on the USS Comstock. We're in Kuwait. It's pretty hot out here, and I'm sending this to my relatives, the Hemscott family in Lakewood, Colorado. Miss you all. Have a good Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas.
TJ Maxx.
7 News and the Rocky Mountain News getting together to bring you a tour of some of the most spectacular light displays in our Metro Denver area. If you're up in West Arvada, don't miss this house. The address, 11851 West 76th Street. Drive, rather. You'll definitely have to slow down as you drive by so you don't miss any of the spectacular holiday scene. Now, we will show you a different home all this week on 7 News, both at 5 and 10 o'clock. Then look in the Rocky Mountain News Weekend Spotlight section on Friday for a map of where all these homes are located.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
and with that, we say good night. Hope you'll join us after the game.
We'll see you then.
The closed captioning of 7 News is sponsored by First Bank, the Colorado bank for you, with free checking and 24-hour banking at over 60 locations.